The suite ends with another Filipinized version of the Spanish jota, the Mantones de Seda. This dance shows the many ways of using the Mantones de Manila, or manton, an intricately embroidered silk shawl worn on festive occasions by Spanish señoritas. In the Mantones de Seda, rhythms are accentuated by Castilian stamping heels and bamboo castanets. It is danced to the bandurria and guitar with a light, festive air. The solo woman walks to position, starting with the right foot. The back of her left hand is on her waist. The right arm is bent across in front at shoulder level with a hand touching the left shoulder. Both hands hold the end of the manton. The woman turns to the right. Her right arm opens up to the right side all the way to the back. The left arm opens up simultaneously, bringing the manton in front, around and overhead, then to the back. The men walk to their positions with the right arm in front at shoulder level and the other arm behind. The left arm goes in front and they turn to the right. The right arm goes overhead. They walk to the center and pose. The solo woman sways to the right and left and hands the flower to the male solo. The woman kneels on one knee. Then stands and take 4 steps forward. She kicks the trail of her dress and does the step rush going to position. Her arms open up as she brings the manton in front, around and overhead, then to the back. She does step points in place and the zapatillado. She poses with her left arm extended sideward and the back of her right hand on her waist. Her arms open up again, manipulating the manton. The men take 4 steps forward and step rush to their positions. They do step points in place and a quick alternate stamping of the feet called zapatillado. They pose with the left arm in front and the other one overhead. The women walk as they enter facing diagonally left. Their arm positions are the same as the solo woman's introduction. They do the same arm movements, bringing the manton in front, around and overhead, then to the back. The men walk to their positions starting with the right foot. They face diagonally right with the right arm in front at shoulder level and the other arm behind. The right foot stamps 4 times in place. One hand is overhead and the other is in front. The women kick the trail of their dress with a turn and step rush with the right foot forward. They turn to the right with the arms stretched out to the sides, doing the same steps. They turn to the left. The partners now step rush to face each other. With walking steps, they move sideward in the same direction. The women now waltz turn, starting with the right foot going to their positions. The right and left arms extend sideward, one after the other. They turn to the right with both hands on their waist. Then they pose. The poses vary from standing to kneeling positions. These poses are very Spanish in character. The solo woman does a half kneel with her right arm up and the left arm down. The three men do the same steps as the core. The men step rush to the right, then they do the zapateado with both arms in front again. They repeat everything facing audience diagonally right. The men now waltz, starting with the right foot, and do a forearm turn to the right, going to their positions. Then they pose. The solo woman stands and turns to the right. She opens her arms to a lateral position with her left foot forward and the right foot extended to the back. She does a waltz in place with her arms in lateral position and turns. She holds one end of the manton on her right shoulder. She kicks the trail of her dress and kneels. She stands and turns, manipulating her manton. She walks with her partner with her left hand on her waist and her right hand touching her left shoulder. She does the habanera step. She kicks the trail of her dress and kneels. She stands and walks to meet her partner at the center. She turns right while manipulating her manton. She ends up in the center, surrounded by the men. She sways to the left and stamps to pose. She turns to the left and touches her left shoulder with her right hand holding the manton. She walks to the left, does a step point, sways and poses with her right arm up and her left arm down. The male solo turns to the right and raises his arms overhead. He does the habanera to the left, bringing his arms behind, then in front with a turn. He poses with his left foot pointed across the right in front. He walks with the other men and they do a half kneel. They stand and turn to the right. They pose facing front, then turn again. One man walks with a woman and does the habanera step. He turns to the right as the men go down to a half-kneeling position. They walk to surround the woman and again do a half kneel. They stand and turn to the right. They walk to positions and pose. The solo woman does the same steps as the core. The women stand and execute a cross habanera step forward, sideward to the right and left, then in place. After this, the women raise their left foot behind and step in place. They do one full turn to the right, then face the back. They do the zapateado as the right arm moves to the side, then overhead to place the manton on the left shoulder. The left hand remains on the waist. The right arm moves in a full circle overhead. The women now step left and raise the right foot while it is bent behind close to the left leg. The left arm swings up, sideward, then downward. They turn to the left facing the back. They do the opposite of the previous movement. The women step brush diagonally as they are met by their partners. The men are positioned behind the women. Both partners turn left or right in place, maintaining their positions. They step brush to the left when exiting. The men now stand and face the back. They step to the left and slightly raise the right foot. The right foot steps backward and the left foot is raised in front. The right arm is in front at shoulder level with the left arm behind. They repeat the first step of this figure in reverse. They step brush diagonally meeting their partners. The men are positioned behind the women. The men turn their partner around, executing step brush steps in place by looking at them. They stamp the right foot and point the left foot forward. They do a zapateado. Their arms are in front of the body. They stamp on the left to step brush. Their arms are in the inverted T position with the left arm leading. They reverse the movement facing the audience when exiting.